Jason and Harrison coming to you from 3 Generation Racing, and this is something we've been working on for a little while. Got pretty big into the mini bikes over the off season, getting ready for the upcoming racing season, so we had to keep ourselves busy. So my pop with the 66 GTO over the years is probably bent up miles and miles of roller cage over the years. Has built a few circle track cars and some drag racing cars, and so he wasn't using the tubing bender, so we said, hey Pop, can we borrow the tubing bender? And he says, absolutely. So what we did was we installed a 1-inch shoe and die for this particular tubing bender. Needed quite a bit of adjusting just to get it right. We noticed that when we put the pipe in the bender, we were breaking the pipe. So lubrication is absolutely essential to bending pipe as I know it. So when I make the bends on the pipe, I spray it down with WD-40 or anything, in an aerosol can. I'm not a professional tubing bender by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to be learning as I go. And so we have this all set up, and we have our table, which is pretty level. Level in this direction, level in that direction for the most part, level enough. And we have our angle finder, tape measure, and well, it looks like a yardstick, but it's longer than a yard. So what we did was we mapped out how we want to make this bike. We're going to be somewhat copying my first bike, but not really. We're going to make it bigger, wider, and taller. But the end result is going to be something like this. Our future build is going to be with a Predator 420 engine from Harbor Freight. We've been doing our homework with the YouTube pages as well, and what they're telling us is that we can get anywhere from 26 to 32 horsepower out of one of those engines with quite a bit of torque. So that is a Harbor Freight 212 that we just happened to luck into. It wasn't new or anything like that. Harrison extraordinaire, he took it all apart and put some thinner head gaskets in it and jetted the carburetor and put a little header on it. So it's nothing fancy, but this bike flies. This bike is my first bike. I got it for graduating 2nd grade back somewhere around 1979 and 1980. I love this bike, and I'm glad that I held on to it through the years. And it was in a box for a while, for probably about 15 years, and we just decided to pull a box out and put it all back together. So we're gonna get started. We've never built a mini bike frame before, so you'll be learning with us. Hopefully we can see some comments. If you guys have any tips for us, we'd be glad to see them. I'm sure that there's a lot of tricks and things that we just haven't come across of yet. And I'm sure that being that this is the first bike that we're going to build, they're only going to get better from here. Every time that you build something, you think about where you can improve it. So this is going to be our table where we start. We're going to start with the bottom 2 frame rails. We're going to clamp them down to the table, and we're going to make everything level and true, at least to the best of our ability. So we're going to get started drilling some holes, and we got our tubing over here, and it is 1-inch outside diameter thin wall tubing, and I think it makes a perfect mini bike. So we're gonna get to it, and we'll holler back at you. All right, so we made a couple of cuts. We made a couple measurements. We decided that we want this bottom bar to be 44 inches long in total length. That'll give us about 3 to 4 inches longer in the back, and probably about 1 inch taller in the front. We can also adjust the height of the top bar by lengthening the neck or putting a slight bend here, aiming down to bring the deck up. So what I did to try to keep this symmetrical was we made one bend, and we measured about 14 inches and put a mark, and we're gonna slip this pipe into the machine, and we're gonna line this mark up with the front of the die. and that should keep it, I don't know if you can see, in the hole. This particular die was not exactly designed for this machine, so we kind of had to adjust it around a little bit and work with it. So there's still some more adjusting that we need to do to the machine itself. Right now we have just a bolt sticking in there to hold the pipe, and we noticed that as we move the pipe around the die, it has different holes, and you drop the pin in there to move the whole machine around the die. With what's going on with our machine is we get to a certain point and we can't drop the pin in. So we built just a quick apparatus to push this part of the machine up against these two pieces of threaded rod. So as we go, we'll improve it. Right now we just want to get the bend in some pipe so it works, and sometimes, you know, you're happy with that. So right now I'm just lining that up in there. I'm going to push this whole mechanism back. Okay, now what did I do? Now I got to do it again because I knocked it. Right there. Hopefully this fits in. It does not. This one. So we're going to get this all situated, and when we get to bending, we'll come back at you. All right, so we made our adjustments. What we just figured out was it's best to slide the shoe in, put the pin in, and then slide the pipe through everything, instead of putting the pipe in and then trying to put the shoe. So that's what we just figured out. I'm gonna put a little bit of WD-40, a little bit there, and we're gonna start bending. One thing I do is I like to put the seam of the pipe to the inside of the radius. Might have said that already, but I'll say it again. And this takes a little bit of patience. I'm going to make a better handle. When my father gave me this bender, it had the proper handle. But when it was sitting around, I might have said, good piece of material over here. I could use that. Not realizing that it was part of the machine. Okay, and this is where we get a little bit tricky. So we need something to push off to get further. This is the best we can come up with at the moment. Like I said, we will improve on this. And right now, we just want to bend. Reverse it. Made one already. I'm just going to check that against that. Okay, so we need to go a little further. pretty close. I want to give it a little bit, one more little kick. Not a full. Okay. Now I highly recommend that when you take the pipe out of the bender, being that this is all new and hasn't really been worked in yet, it's leaving a score along the back side of the shoe. So we've just been cleaning that up. I would imagine the more we use the bender, the happier it'll get. If you guys have any recommendations on that, please feel free to comment. And there's that little burr. That'll get you. So I'm just going to clean that up. That is pretty close. I think I'll take that. And when we mount these two pipes to the machine, to the table that we have, then we can start checking things with our angle finder, and try to get the angles exact. So if we need a little bit more kick, then we'll bring the pipe that has less radius, we'll put it back in the machine, and we'll just give it a little bit of little kick. So we're going to start getting set up to mount these two to the table, and then we're going to work our way up.